Hey guys, how's it going? Hope everybody's all doing well. In today's video, I just want to give my quick post-fight thoughts on what was a brilliant fight and brilliant performance by the now new unified lightweight champion of the world, George Kambosos Jr. And off the bat, I just want to admit I got this fight completely wrong, guys. In the pre-fight video, I predicted that Teofimo Lopez would probably win and win by stoppage. I think I said before the 5th round I felt he would be able to walk down and break down George Kambosos Jr. I was completely wrong about that. Teofimo Lopez did come out fast and aggressive, looking for the first round knockout or early knockout as he said he was going to do. He showed, little to no respect for George Kambosos from the first bell. However, Kambosos quickly gained his respect by dropping Teofimo at the end of the first round. And when the fight started, and Teofimo was, almost charging forwards like a raging bull, trying to get the knockout in the first round, and he was throwing big bombs. George Kambosos was slipping and sliding, moving backwards, riding with and rolling with some of the shots. I was thinking to myself, Kambosos is going to need to land something hard to gain some respect from Teofimo Lopez, and he did. At the end of the first round, he landed a beautiful overhand right over Teofimo's left jab, hit him on the button, put him down at the end of the first round, and that kind of changed the fight right then and there. But also, I just want to say that, like I said, this was not the result or the type of fight that I expected, because in the pre-fight video I said that both men are not the same fighters on their back foot as they are on their front foot. Now that is the case with one of the fighters, in Teofimo Lopez. However, that is not the case with George Kambosos, because in this fight he showed that he really has got a in-depth and developed back foot game that he showed off in this fight. He showed a beautiful lateral movement, using that footwork and lateral movement to frustrate Teofimo Lopez, stayed just out of range for Teofimo's punches and just on the end of range for his shots. Teofimo Lopez struggled all night to cut off the ring on George Kambosos, who had great ring generalship and ring awareness. He circled the ring beautifully. He boxed beautifully on the back foot, never got caught up on the ropes, always had the awareness to turn out of the corners and keep his back off the ropes. Used a beautiful hard left jab that I also didn't quite realize he had such a good jab. So I underestimated George Kambosos quite a lot, it must be said. But he really impressed me in this fight. I thought he boxed really well and put on a clinic for most of the fight. I thought he was stacking up the rounds, but towards the end of the fight it looked like he was starting to fatigue, and Teofimo's strength and power was starting to take its toll on him. And in the 9th round, I think Teo had quite a good round, and then the 10th round he managed to drop George Kambosos. But George Kambosos showed that he had the heart and also the wiliness and ring IQ to get his way out of the dangerous situation that he found himself in. He was able to use his movement, use his slipperiness, defense, counter punching to get back into the fight, make it to the end of the 10th round, and then come back out in the 11th and 12th round and almost put on, go back to putting on a clinic in those 2 rounds to seal the deal. Going into the 12th round, though, I think I had it scored to where Teofimo Lopez needed at least a knockdown or a knockout to try and make the fight a draw, knockdown to make the fight a draw going into the 12th round. Because after the 11th round, I think on my scorecard, I think Kambosos was now too far ahead to just have a draw or lose the fight by just giving up the 12th round. So I think Teo needed at least a knockdown or knockout to try give himself a shot in the fight. So yeah, overall it was a great performance by George Kambosos Jr. in this fight. Things I underestimated about George Kambosos are definitely, his footwork. I didn't realize he had as good a legs as he does. His lateral movement was, good throughout the whole fight. Like I say, Teofimo struggled to cut off the ring on him, as well as George Kambosos's just ring IQ in general. I thought his jab was tremendous in this fight. I didn't realize that he had such a hard thudding left jab that was able to bust an opponent up like that. He really busted up Teofimo Lopez badly in this fight, using that hard, stiff left jab, and also overall I just underestimated his left hand, because in my opinion the left hand was really what kind of controlled the fight and dominated the fight, because not only was he using that stiff jab, but he was using that hard left hook off the jab. Really beautiful boxing from George Kambosos, using that left hook off the jab. His feints were beautiful. I thought when he started to fatigue down the stretch at the end, he stopped using his feints a little bit, but he was able to get his second win back and got back on his game, using his left jab, feints, movement. His right hand was good as well throughout the fight, but like I say, I feel like it was the left hand that really controlled and dominated the fight, the left hand and the footwork. His timing was tremendous in this fight, but that overhand right, it was there all night for George Kambosos, with Teofimo Lopez fighting out of the Philly shell defense. I think for Teofimo, his Philly shell defense, it kind of helps him with his counter punching. He's able to catch and shoot a little bit out of it and get off some good, sharp counters. But I feel like defensively, it's not great, because he doesn't, he doesn't really bend at the waist either. So with the overhand right coming over the shoulder, you can't be standing up straight like that all night, because it's the right hand's looping over the shoulder. You got to bend at the waist to kind of get out of the way of the curving right hand. He was just standing up straight, so the right hand was landing upside his head all night. Also, his eyes and reflexes weren't great in this, so he wasn't really twisting either to try and roll the straight right hands, because even the straight right hands were getting past the shoulder. But look, both guys showed a lot of heart. Teofimo showed a lot of heart to take the amount of punishment he took and keep coming forwards and keep trying to win the fight. Make no mistake about it, he was trying to win the fight. He almost did, going in the 10th round. I started to think that he was maybe going to get the stoppage and that his size and strength was going to come through in the end. But, George Kambosos, like I say, he showed the heart and also the boxing IQ and slipperiness and wiliness to get his way out of that situation, and then get back onto his game and start putting on a clinic again in the 11th and 12th round behind his, beautiful left jab. Like I say, Kambosos' timing in this fight was really beautiful. One thing I spoke to one of my friends about after the fight was, which he also pointed out was, and I agreed with, because I noticed this as well, was it would almost look like Kambosos would move a little bit, just to get Teofimo Lopez to try and move with him, to try and follow him, and then he would look to catch Teofimo as Teofimo was mid-step trying to come forwards and take up the space that George had given up. But George was only given up the space to be able to catch Teofimo Lopez as he was stepping towards him, because it looked like Teo was taking quite big steps, especially early in the fight, almost lunging in with shots, and he would lunge into hard jabs and counters from George Kambosos, whose timing and counters were on point in this fight. I knew George Kambosos had pretty good reflexes and counters, but I didn't realize that he had such a good left jab and also such a developed back foot game. Like I say in the pre-fight video, I thought both men lacked a back foot game, and I felt that Teo's strength and size would mean that he would be the one to able to get George to go onto his back foot, and then I thought Teo would be able to win the fight like that, with both guys not being great on their back foot. But I was wrong about that. Teo did force George onto his back foot, but George was happy to box off the back foot due to him having a great back foot game, or at least a very good back foot game. And overall great performance from George Kambosos. Showed a lot of heart, showed a lot of boxing skills, and overall just deserved to win the fight. I thought it was a great performance and a great fight, one of the best fights of the year. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Very exciting fight. Let me know in the comment section below what your guys' thoughts were on the fight, how you had it scored. Did you see this coming, or was this a big surprise to you? Let me know in the comment section below. I definitely underestimated George Kambosos. Was quite a big shock to me. However, the guy really showed that he has, great skills and is one of the best fighters in the world. Let me know in the comment section below how you guys saw the fight, and thanks for listening. Talk to you guys again soon. Cheers.